If the rule of law is there to help us achieve justice, how can we enforce it equally and fairly? Bishop Garrison is Director of National Security Outreach at Human Rights First in Washington, D.C. Bishop, if law enforcement is there to ideally help us achieve justice, why does it not always work out that way?
I think, unfortunately, across the world, you see vulnerable populations that are often marginalized politically and lacking a voice within their democratic systems, within that dialogue. And you often see xenophobic policies and rhetoric pointed at minorities, pointed at immigrants, pointed at individuals that should have a voice, that should be protected within our society and should have fair and equitable treatment.
Ideally, what should law enforcement look like? What principles should be underpinning the work of law enforcement?
Well, when you speak of law enforcement, what we're really talking about are the police. And when we say police, we're talking about policing communities. We're talking about working hand in hand with civic leaders, with community leaders, with the citizens that they have sworn to serve and protect, and ensuring that we have safer communities. So what we really want to see is that that type of interaction, that close connection with those that they serve within the community in order to build a more prosperous community, a safer community.
Identifying the social injustices within a community is key in addressing the causes of crime.
We need to look and see what type of services need to be provided in those areas, what type of educational opportunities, job opportunities exist in order to reduce some of the major issues that we may have with crime. People don't often, not always, but they don't often seek out to break the law simply for the sake of breaking the law. There are very serious reasons as to why an individual might choose to do so. And often, more times than not, it's out of desperation. It's out of having a lack of opportunity to build the type of wealth necessary to have a stable and happy home environment. So those are the things we really should be focused on whenever we talk about law enforcement. It's a holistic answer. It's not simply having more cops on the street, having new types of tools, of weapons, of security mechanisms. It's really about what type of policies within those communities exist and how can we ensure that those policies are designed to serve all and not just a select few.
How do we get there?
You don't have firefighters just roaming the streets looking for fires. So to some degree, why do we have police patrolling the streets, quite honestly, frankly, looking for crime? Well, in certain instances, of course, it's really that they're in a better locality in order to respond should they be called upon. But quite frankly, I think we need to really rethink what policing is and how it's leveraged, how it's utilized within our communities. We have to figure out a way to be more focused on de-escalation in everything that we do. The police, when they arrive on the scene, law enforcement, when they arrive on the scene, their first inclination should be, how can I make this scene safer? How can I add to the stability of what is taking place around me?
Ensuring law enforcement officers are adequately supported in developing communication and negotiation skills helps with de-escalation.
We need to make policing a community matter. We need to bring them back into the fold the way we have other first responders. When you talk about EMTs, when you talk about firefighters, again, with the firefighter analogy, you're talking about individuals who live directly within the communities they serve. I think it is of the utmost importance that police officers live in those communities and know their neighbors and know their streets and understand the issues that are taking place at local schools, local grocery stores, local community centers, that they really hand in hand live with these individuals and have a vested interest in seeing that that community remains safe and stable. Because then it's not an us versus them type of situation. You aren't thinking about walking into a war zone if it is the neighborhood in which you live and it's the neighborhood in which you protect.
What emerges is a need for law enforcement officials to be members and participants in the communities in which they serve and to actively contribute towards social justice. Thank you for watching.